Jennifer saying, like, at an early age for Jennifer, she'd be intimidated around, like, even her supervisor. But how do you go about this world without struggling with something called imposter syndrome, which we experience a lot even in our work?
Yeah. You know what? I think in a weird way, like I'm thinking back to my 20s where like ignorance is bliss, right? Like if I knew then what I know now, yeah, I'd be much more intimidated. But I think I didn't know what I didn't know. And then I do think imposter syndrome for me hit a little bit later, you know, when I do start to, you know, really sort of see people in very, you know, successful, powerful positions, and they seem so prepared and they seem so well equipped. And then I think, well, wait, so when I compare, that's where I start to get myself into trouble, because that's where, versus I have something completely different to offer or wholly unique to offer. And so I hope that answered it. Okay.
Dennis, are there any people online? By the way, this side of the room sucks. You guys are not asking any questions.
She raised her hand right here.
Celeste raised her hand. Okay, so we're going to go to Dennis online to see if anybody in virtual land has any questions. And then this side of the room might get to chime in.
Yeah, we had a question that says, how do you know you are now seen and heard?
Who's the person who asked that?
Michelle.
Michelle. Shout out to Michelle twice. Everybody else, you suck too in virtual land.
I mean, that is a really difficult question for me, because in these few years of therapy, my insecurity comes from not being seen and not being heard. I mean, that as a child, it was like, just to be seen and heard was like my goal. And I don't know, I think maybe that's where the deflection comes in, of sort of like, you know what, if I just keep doing what I enjoy doing and I keep doing it and it feels good to me and it feels like Tiffany with the dopamine hit. I related to that, because sometimes I get dopamine hits from just feeling efficient, you know, which is weird. I'm not up on a stage, you know, entertaining people, but you know, it's sort of like, what makes me feel good at the end of the day, that like I achieved something that day. Anyway, sometimes that's it. But being seen and heard, I mean, I think that's everybody. I mean, that's part of what I look for in other people telling their story, you know, is sort of like giving that to people, you know, seeing them, hearing them, that sort of thing. So I still have a ways to go.
I have a follow-up question to that. So here she is, like, admitting, like, I want to be seen and heard. But when I point out things, she's like, is it hard for you to be seen and heard, even though you seek being seen
well,
and heard?
I haven't totally felt like I still have a lot to do. You know, like I just feel like I don't know if I'll ever get there. Like, I think you had asked a question earlier of like, and maybe it was Tiffany, of sort of like, well, when did you know that you made it? And it was sort of like, I wouldn't even know how to answer that question.